Hi, everyone. Mark Connolly here in the Connolly Kitchen. I've had a lot of people asking me to start a cooking blog, and so giving it a first attempt today. And so the lighting may not be perfect, the sound may be poor, but I really wanted to try the experiment in my tiny kitchen and see how things turn out. And as things move along, you'll see more of me and more recipes and more ideas. The whole theme for what I want to create is just a kitchen that cooks mostly from scratch, but cooks with healthy food items. No canola oil, no palm oil. The oils are good oils. They're not going to be harmful to the body. Trying to refrain from any sugars that are not healthy. And so cooking healthy is basically what I want to make it thematically, if you would, and to also cook from scratch so that everything is whole food, nothing processed. So without further ado, let me try this experiment and see what happens. See you on the other side. Hi, all. Mark Connolly in the Connolly Kitchen at home, doing some cooking. Today I'm making chocolates, and I am making a fairly healthy chocolate. It's made with Hue, so I'm making chocolates Hue, with Hue. And these chocolate gems are pretty delightful. There's no soy, no gluten, there's no palm oil, no lecithins, no emulsifiers, no refined sugar, no cane sugar, no sugar alcohols, and no erythritol. So these are very healthy. I'm pairing them up with a couple of ingredients here. There is the cranberries, which are dried, and the cherries, which are also dried. And I have never made it with the cherries before, but I love these cranberry dark chocolates. So this chocolate has been melted in my chocolate melter, not using a double boiler. If you have a chocolate melter, you can use that instead. And it works very well. It's on melt at the moment. I'm just going to turn it now. Since the chocolate is melted, I'm going to turn that on warm. Let that sit for just a minute. I've got my chocolate nubs, or what they call gems, and these are 1/3 of the volume that I'm making the chocolate with. So what I did is I took 2/3 of the volume of chocolate nibs, which was from 9 ounces, so that leaves me with 6 ounces melted and 3 ounces unmelted. And now I'm going to seed the chocolate. Seeding causes the chocolate to recrystallize, and I want this to be cooler before I do that. So I'm going to bring it out, stir it about for a bit, just to let it cool down. Once it starts to cool, you can then add the new chocolate to the melted chocolate and continue stirring. What that'll do is it causes the chocolate to recrystallize at a cooler temperature, rebuilding the crystal structure. So that keeps this chocolate at a stage where it's not going to melt so readily in the hand, and it'll be more shelf stable at room temperature. It won't be melting at room temperature. So we're going to add the new chocolate, the melted chocolate. And let's just start stirring that in and rebuilding those crystals. Now that the chocolate is melted and the crystals are being reformed, this should have a nice sort of glossy, silky look to it. Once you get to that stage, keep it on warm and we can pour it into our molds. Start with the cranberries. Just a few cranberries in each mold. Now the first batch I did, I actually poured in a bit of chocolate, but I'm doing a little bit of experimentation now. I poured in a bit of chocolate so that the fruit does not actually show through the top of it. This will be different, this one. But throw in your cranberries. And I'm doing 3, 6, 9, 12 cranberry, and I'll do 9 cherry, since I haven't really done cherry before. Now these cherries are sweetened. My next experiment will be doing them with a unsweetened cherry, because the cranberries are unsweetened and they work with the chocolate really well. So now it's the waiting game. We're just going to leave these someplace where they can be quiet and cool. Below 75 degrees is good. Cooler the better, but not in the refrigerator. You'll cause them to cool too quickly, and that makes the sugar bloom in the chocolates. You don't want that. So this is my chocolates being placed aside so they have time to cool. And then there's always the spoils, which are delightful. I mean, this is going to turn out just great, I think. But spatula licking good. That's good chocolate. I'll catch up with you in a bit. So here we are again. It's been a little time that has passed, and I have been able to get the chocolate to harden, and it's not as melt-proof as I thought it would be. So I've got to figure out another thing for that. However, take a look. I've taken a few of them out of the tray and been experimenting a little bit with what was to be a little more melt-proof, but it's not. Here's what it looks like on a plate. Now, the top, as you can see, is slightly different in color, and that's because of the way that the chocolate form is designed. It has nothing to do with any other added ingredients. But as you can see, what I did is I poured a little bit of chocolate in first, and then I poured in the cranberry. After that, I then poured more chocolate over top. And this makes a nice, clean chocolate bonbon, if you would, to consume. However, it is a little not melt stable. I'll put it that way. It's going to melt in my hand if I hold it long enough. However, it lasts long enough to be able to unfoil it or unpackage it and then pop it in your mouth. Oh boy. And that unsweetened cranberry with the sweetened chocolate works so well. So well. Mark Connolly in the Connolly Kitchen. Stay well. Cook healthy. Bye for now.